Stop right there. If you are currently letting your child run off their energy at 7 p.m. in a desperate attempt to tire them out for bed, you are actually making it physically impossible for them to fall asleep. You're not wearing them out. You are accidentally triggering a biological survival mechanism that will keep them awake until midnight. You are living in a cycle of sleep debt that is destroying your child's development and, quite frankly, your own sanity. In places like Scandinavia, parents do the exact opposite of what we do here in the States, and their children have significantly lower rates of bedtime resistance and higher quality REM sleep. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on my 16 years of experience as a pediatric occupational therapist. I've worked with families from the high-rise apartments of New York City to the suburbs of Chicago, and I see the same 5 mistakes everywhere. These are the secret destroyers of sleep. By the end of this episode, you'll have a precise, science-backed roadmap to reclaim your evenings. Let's look at the numbers, because they are staggering. Statistics show that nearly 70% of American parents describe their child's bedtime as stressful or highly combative. Yet, only about 10% of those parents realize that the environment they've created is actually working against their child's biology. In cities like Los Angeles, where the pace is fast and late-night play is often the only time working parents see their kids, we see a massive spike in what we call social jet lag. But in countries with strict cultural quiet hours, those issues are nearly non-existent. The difference isn't the kids, it's the method. Have you ever been in this situation? It's 7:30 p.m. You want your toddler in bed by 8. You think, if I let them jump on the trampoline or run laps in the hallway, they'll be exhausted. You say, "Go ahead, honey, burn off that steam." 10 minutes later, their eyes are dilated, they're laughing hysterically, and they're crashing into the walls. The result? You try to put them down, and they have a total meltdown. They aren't tired, they are wired. Or how about this one? It's a cold winter night in Chicago. You turn the heater up to 74 degrees because you don't want your baby to be cold. You put them in fleece pajamas and a heavy sleep sack. They wake up screaming at 2 a.m. You think they're hungry, but they're actually overheating. Or the classic weekend reward. You let your school-aged child sleep in until 10 a.m. on Saturday because they worked hard all week. By Sunday night, they're staring at the ceiling until midnight, and Monday morning feels like a literal nightmare for the whole family. If this sounds familiar, you aren't alone. Most parents are stuck in these traps every single day. But here is why it's backfiring. When we stimulate a child right before bed or overwarm their environment, we aren't just making it hard to sleep. We are triggering a cortisol spike, the stress hormone. This leads to 3 things. First, a fragmented sleep cycle where the child wakes up every 90 minutes. Second, a decrease in growth hormone production, which primarily happens during deep sleep. And third, chronic irritability that mimics the symptoms of ADHD. Over time, this creates a child who is perpetually exhausted but physically hyperactive. A 10-year study from the National Sleep Foundation found that children who missed out on just 1 hour of consistent sleep had a 30% lower cognitive performance score the following day. This isn't just about a quiet house. It's about their brain's ability to learn and regulate emotions. We are currently in what I call the golden window of brain development. Between the ages of 2 and 12, the brain is undergoing massive synaptic pruning. Sleep is essentially the dishwasher for the brain. It clears out metabolic waste. When you make these mistakes, you're essentially leaving the trash in the brain. If you miss this window to establish a healthy circadian rhythm, the biological belief becomes bedtime is a battle for survival. Once that belief is locked in, Changing it in the teenage years requires 10 times the effort. Think of it like a train track. If the tracks are laid slightly off-center now, by the time the train travels 10 miles, it's completely off course. This affects their academic performance, their social skills, and even their physical health, including their risk for obesity and childhood diabetes. A study from the American Academy of Pediatrics involving over 5,000 participants found that children with inconsistent bedtimes, the sleep-in mistake, had significantly higher levels of behavioral problems. The difference was night and day. Kids with a strict, same time every day rule had better focus and less anxiety. So, how do we fix it? In my practice, I use the S.T.E.A.D.Y method. It stands for sensory, temperature, environment, anchored times, dialogue limits, and yellow light. Let's talk about mistake number 1, the forbidden zone. This is the period about 60 to 90 minutes before the body's natural sleep onset. If you stimulate a child here, you trigger a second wind. Instead of burning energy, you should be dimming the lights. Instead of saying, "Run around and get it out," you say, "The sun is going down and our bodies are slowing down." You switch to heavy work, like pushing a laundry basket or wall pushes. This provides proprioceptive input that calms the nervous system without raising the heart rate. Mistake number 2, the temperature. 90% of you have the room too hot. The human body needs to drop its core temperature by 2 to 3 degrees to initiate sleep. If the room is 72 degrees, the brain won't trigger the melatonin release. The sweet spot is 65 to 68 degrees. It sounds cold, but a cool room and a warm bath before bed is the biological on switch for sleep. Mistake number 3, letting them sleep in. I know it's tempting, but anchored wake times are more important than bedtimes. If your child wakes at 7 a.m. on Monday, they must wake at 7 a.m. on Saturday. This keeps the master clock in the brain synchronized. Mistake number 4, the negotiation. One more water, one more story. I need to tell you something. Sound familiar? This is a boundary issue. In my method, we use bedtime tickets. The child gets 2 tickets. They can use them for a drink or a hug. Once they're gone, the bank of mom and dad is closed. This moves the control to them, but within your limits. And mistake number 5, the nightlight. Most parents use white or blue-toned nightlights. These are melatonin killers. Blue light tells the brain it's noon in the middle of the Sahara Desert. You need red light. Red light is the only spectrum that does not suppress melatonin production. Research from Harvard Medical School has shown that even a tiny amount of blue light can delay sleep onset by over 90 minutes. By switching to a dim red bulb, you are literally hacking the brain's chemistry for success. Let me tell you about a family I worked with in Brooklyn. They had a 5-year-old named Leo. Every night was a 2-hour battle. They were using a cool white humidifier light and letting him play tag at 7 p.m. We changed the light to red, dropped the thermostat to 67, and implemented the no-run zone after dinner. Within 4 nights, Leo was falling asleep in 15 minutes. 15 minutes! Now, let's get into your 4-week transformation plan. Week 1, the observation phase. You'll probably feel guilty thinking they aren't tired enough, but trust the science. You are preventing the cortisol spike. Your mantra this week is, quiet house, quiet body. Week 2, the environmental overhaul. Common mistake, thinking warm and cozy means a hot room. No. Warm and cozy means a cool room and a comfortable blanket. By day 5, you'll notice they are staying in a deeper sleep for longer stretches. Week 3, the anchored wake-up. This teaches the brain that sleep is a non-negotiable cycle. Your mantra, the sun rises for everyone at the same time. By the end of this week, they will naturally start getting sleepy earlier in the evening because their sleep pressure has built up correctly. Week 4. The boundary shift. When the tickets are gone, you use the broken record technique. If they come out of the room, you walk them back silently. No talking, no eye contact, no go back to bed or no dessert tomorrow. Just a silent, loving return to the room. This removes the reward of your attention. Imagine your life 4 weeks from now. It's 8:15 p.m. Your child is asleep. The house is quiet. You and your partner are actually sitting on the couch, talking or watching a movie, without one eye on the baby monitor or one ear listening for the sound of a door opening. This isn't just a dream, it's biology. 90% of parents are doing it wrong because they follow common sense instead of circadian science. But you know better now. Remember, 1. Avoid the forbidden zone. 2. Keep it cool, 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. 3. No sleeping in. 4. Use bedtime tickets. 5. Red lights only. Start tonight. Turn that thermostat down. Switch that light. And for heaven's sake, stop the pre-bedtime wrestling. Your future well-rested self will thank you. If you found this helpful, share it with a parent who looks like they haven't slept since 2019. See you in the next episode.